Let's go. Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out. Hey, what's happening? Hey, welcome to iHeart Intellectual Radio, the Chronicles of Rohn. I am your host, Alan J. Campbell, here at 9 o'clock hour, a.k.a. The Batman. All right, y'all, we're going to get into a couple of things tonight. And a couple of things I'm going to say is going to really make a couple of y'all, your boo-boos hurt. And we have to, and I say that because a lot of it is going to be true, and we have to start working in the realm of what I say is critical thinking. So a couple of things I'm gonna and I have several topics. The two main topics we're gonna get into the Brionna Tayler situation. That's one. The second one is people are bitching about Donald Trump and his taxes. I'm gonna tell you all about that. And the other one is the I can't believe it escapes me. The president's pick for a nomination for the Supreme Court. Okay, but first things first. We had this is one of the things that kind of continues to have us scratching our head as we go through life, and even as a parent. Okay, just this past weekend we had a woman, and I'm sure that some of you haven't heard or did hear. There was a woman who, for whatever reason, flipped out, cheese slid off her cracker, whatever it may be. But she's been charged with allegedly stabbing to death her 5-year-old daughter. And not only that, but after she stabbed her, she carried her outside across the street to the park and laid down in the grass with her. Okay. Yes, this woman is in custody. And here's the thing. This is when people say, oh my gosh, this woman, is she crazy? Has she lost her mind? No, it's just straight bullshit, because I'm gonna tell you why. Because when they have her in for questioning, and when they brought her in and began questioning her, what did she do? She invoked her right to remain silent. Okay, so reason why I say that, because if you did what you did, if she did what she's alleged to have done, and then you have the intuitiveness, you have the sense to invoke your right to remain silent. You are not crazy. You are not nothing is wrong with you if you have that much sense to say, I have the right to remain silent. Now, if you saw this picture of this woman, and at first glance, you would think that, oh my God, she's absolutely crazy. No, what's happening is that these are some of these parents, some of these individuals who've had these children, or who created these children on some drug infested, alcohol fueled one night stand. And these are the oops babies. And now I don't want this thing, and I got to figure out what to do, because the person who gave him to me, he's nowhere to be found or anything of that nature. So what do? You decide to do this. Now that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. You don't even have to like it, but that's just my opinion, because this is happening way too often. Way too often. I mean, really way too often. That's just one of many. Also, I'm gonna let everybody know that, hey, the phone lines are going to be open. They're open, going to be open real early tonight, roughly starting in about 30 seconds. The phone lines will be open, because these couple of topics that we're going to get into are going to be put some on your mind. The first thing, everybody's boo-hooing and talking about Donald Trump and his taxes. Okay, now Donald Trump paid federal income taxes and in the years 2016, 2017, and he only paid $750. Okay, what's the problem? And people are thinking, see, once again, this is where we have to start doing critical thinking. People think, oh my goodness, he's a millionaire. How does he get away with paying only $750, where me, Joe, I'm Joe Average, and I'm paying astronomical taxes? Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. A lot of us see. Let me put it more bluntly. First of all, if you understand the law. Second, if you understand and read the law. If you understand and read tax law, you would understand, you would know how he did it. See, the problem is that you all want to talk about this, but none of you all are even reading. And I'm gonna be, and I like I say, I'm going in hard tonight. You're not reading. Some of you can't read, and some of you refuse to read to understand how this works. Here's the thing: Donald Trump used the very same tax breaks and loopholes that are afforded all of us if we knew how to do it. And look, once I figured it out, I use some of the same tax loopholes and things of that nature, and certain things that what we don't really understand. Once you understand how the tax law works, and here's the thing, and I said this before: Donald J. Trump has very smart people around him. These are the same. These people taught him, showed him how to do this, and the thing about it is perfectly legal. Perfectly legal. See, these are conversations that, as I said before, you can't have these kind of conversations with broke people. You cannot have these conversations with broke ass people. You just can't. This is a guy who has filed for bankruptcy, has property, but he know and businesses. But when you know the tax codes, the tax laws, you can use them to your advantage. You can find this. You can find things that you can use as what deductions. Here's one of the things that he used as a deduction: the fact that he can consider himself a celebrity, and he can and his hairstylist. His hairstylist is considered an expense. Anything that you consider an expense, it can be deducted. If this is something that you use every day, but you have to understand how the tax laws work. You have to understand how that works. He did nothing wrong. So now here's what the other side is doing. Joe Biden and his as we call him, aka shit show Johnny, Sleepy Joe. What he's doing, they've already put together a commercial bashing him on the taxes. Look, the problem, these are these Democrats are the same ones who are hiding the tax, who are the same ones who are hiding the tax laws and tax codes from from everyday citizens like yourselves, hiding them from everyday Joes. They don't want you to know that, because these politicians are the same ones that are using these same loopholes, but they're going to vilify this man on that. So that's so hypocritical. I don't know what is. 700, and not only that, but here's the other thing. He posted losses for 10 straight years of his business. And when you have a business and you post losses, and I mean significant losses, you can class that can be a deduction, that can be written off because you lost more money than you made. So that's why he didn't pay any taxes, because he lost more money than he made. This is a very smart man, which means that he winds up keeping more of the money that he has and not giving it away. See, the other thing, and just a sidebar, this is another thing that people don't know and understand. This is the he's this is he this president Donald Trump receives no presidential pay. His presidential pay, which is I believe, if memory serves, is $286,000 a year, and he's taken that pay and giving it away, giving it to charity. These are things that can be written off as a deduction. Donald Trump receives he's paid $1 a year. $1 a year. He makes about as much as a prison as a inmate in prison. $1 a day. See, we have to understand if you understand how taxes work, how the tax works, how the tax base works. This is why sometimes some things are so important, to where when you understand when you with your paycheck and they're taking out taxes, and you understand the amount or the percentage that they're taking. See, other thing too, what we tend to don't do, and we continue to operate in the world of stupidity. You have to look at you have to find out what deductions for this particular tax year qualify. How many dependents can you claim that you can have? See, this is one of the things too where when he created when they did the stimulus package with the 1,200 and a few other dollars added in, this is money that you don't have to pay back. Because why? Legally under the tax codes, this is money that we are giving this is excess money that we're giving away. You don't have to pay this back. This is one of the things to where in 2017 to where he changed the tax codes and the tax laws on your paychecks. More people saw the first, yeah, the 2016, 27, yeah, the second year, more people saw more money on their tax return when they filed their tax returns. More people saw more money in their tax returns than they have in a long time. That's because he went in and changed the tax code, he had them change the tax laws. People who had the this bullshit Obamacare, and then if you didn't have it, you got penalized $750. He did away with that because one, that was unconstitutional. How can the ACA or the Affordable Care Act be considered affordable, when most people can't afford it, and you're going to tax me on it? You're going to tax me on it. We have to fully understand. See, you have to understand how this works. This is a very smart man, and he's got smart people around him. He had tax lawyers zipping through, and I understand this is not just the first. And see, people were wondering, oh, well, that's probably why he didn't want anybody, he didn't want his taxes to be told, and this, that, and the other. No, it's not that. It's that this is not relevant to his office. You want to ask him something about you want to ask him about his taxes before he became president. Anything before 2016 is irrelevant. Is irrelevant. When people, if you have a business, even if you have a business, if you have a greasy spoon, eat 'em up joint, if you do hair, if you have a hair salon or things of that nature, if you're doing child care at home, or you have a child care facility, if you do it at home or you have a facility, if you are a general contractor, any of these things, if you are finding someone who knows how the tax laws work, that's the person you put in your team, so they can tell you how to manage your money, what you can do, use as what qualifies as legitimate deductions. Legitimate deductions. If you have a hair care business, say you're doing it out of your home. You're doing it out of your home, or you're doing it in a shop. Okay, you're doing that. At some point or another, you filing a what they call a 1099, and on that 1099, there are certain things that you have to put on there, or as what they call itemized. First, before you do that, find out what you can put on there that will qualify as a deduction, so you can get that money back. Because what that is that you had to pay out of pocket to say you had to pay out of pocket for your electricity to run your shop, or to run your shop. You had to pay out of pocket to buy material. So right now, basically, you're posting losses because you have more money going out the door than you do coming in. The same thing if you have a child care business. Look at what you are spending. Look at what's coming in and what's going out the door. Look at what you can use as what can qualify as deductions. The key word in there for taxes, people, are the deductions. Anytime Donald Trump can classify his hair care his hairstylist, he can classify that as a deduction because it's an out-of-pocket expense because he is a celeb. Look at everything else that you could possibly cash in on. I mean, understand something. Money is there. It's free money. You just can't. You just have to stop being stupid and turn off the idiot box and get your head in the book. Hey, I need to know something about tax laws. I need to know something about tax organization. I need to know about these things. How do I do this? How do I qualify for this particular amount of money? How do I qualify for that amount of money? How do I do that? How does this dude do it? Instead of spending all the time saying that you dislike this man for whatever reason or no reason at all, just because you heard somebody else say it, why don't you find out on how he's doing what he's doing? Because this dude is, make no mistake, this is the guy. He is the epitome of what they call winning. Winning. That's the thing about the taxes. Moving on to the next portion of winning, he has this past Friday, he nominated Amy. What was that? Amy Coney Barrett. Okay, Amy Coney Barrett is the nominee, is the president's nominee for the Supreme Court to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Okay, which personally I think that is she's a good fit. It's an excellent choice. Excellent choice. And that's so for some people who don't understand the judicial part of the government, it is imperative that they have 9 justices right now. It's imperative because there are things on the docket for the justices to rule on. And understand something, people. Understand something. When you have a conservative, and see, and we have to go back, we got to go back some 60, 70 years when the Supreme Court was conservative, because a lot of things they did not rule in favor for. Now, when you have, right now, you have four, you have five, you have, well, if you count John Roberts, if you count him, because sometimes Chief Justice John Roberts can be wishy-washy, flip-flop, and he's not really my ideal of a chief justice. You either make a decision or you don't make a decision. There's no straddling the fence. But uh, Barnett, she is an excellent fit because, one, she is a conservative. She has certain values, and here's the thing that's really going to help. That's going to help her. There are a lot of what they call evangelicals that want the country to go back to certain ways, to go back to certain ways, meaning certain levels of morality, certain levels. Now she studied law at Notre Dame. In fact, she will be the only one, if she's confirmed. She will be the only justice on the bench who did not attend an Ivy League school, such as Harvard. She will be the only one because she studied law at Notre Dame. Also, she clerked for Anton Scalise, who was a Supreme Court justice who died while on a trip, and during Trump's administration, during the current administration. And not only that, but he moved relatively quickly to replace him with who we have now, with Brett Kavanaugh. Now here's the ironic thing about that. Amy Barnett, Amy was the runner up to Kavanaugh. So basically, she was right there. It was a choice. Trump had a choice between picking Amy or picking Brett. He chose Brett. Now, this is a good decision to put another woman on the bench to where you still keeping it. You still have what you have. You have three women that'll be on the bench, but what you're going to have is that you're going to have one conservative against two liberals. One, you have Sotomayor and um, uh, who is a liberal, and Keegan, who is a liberal. Okay, then you go to the other side, and so what this will do, this if she is confirmed, this will set the Supreme Court for two generations. That means that will be roughly 40 to 60 years to certain things will be done away and won't be changed. This will set for 40 to 60 years. He's going to set the Supreme Court for 40 to 60 years. And also, which is helpful, is that the conservatives, the swing will be, instead of 5-4, it'll be 6-3. Six conservatives, three liberals. They won't have any more power. And also, what this also takes a lot of power away from Chief Justice John Roberts, who doesn't have the same amount of tenure on the bench. What that does is that swings around to making Clarence Thomas, who by the way, was the replacement for Thurgood Marshall when Thurgood Marshall stepped down. Thurgood Marshall, for those who don't know, they've been living under a rock or had no idea who he is or what he did. Thurgood Marshall was the first Black Supreme Court justice nominated by Lyndon Johnson. Well, check that. Let me scratch that. He was actually nominated by by John F. Kennedy. He was nominated, but as we all know, Kennedy didn't get a chance to get that going. The second that now, and also, when that's being set, Clarence Thomas will be the senior conservative, which means that a lot of the opinions will most likely go through him, and he will be started. He will pass those. He will pass those out. He will be Donald Trump. If he gets this person, if he gets Amy through, or if she gets through this, Donald Trump will be the first sitting president to have three Supreme Court nominees and justices placed in his tenure. It's unheard of. Unheard of. So, I mean, what more can you say? And what more can you say is winning. What more can you say? And also, we have to realize this too. People, and trust me, mark my words. I'm telling you what I know. What you want is a conservative Supreme Court, because people, we don't realize this, that if we have a Supreme Court, that helps black people than it would that helps black people than it would white people. And I know some of you sitting there, you don't know whether to scratch your watch or whine your butt, but you're trying to figure it out. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Please don't do that. Some of you, your heads might explode. But when I say it's going to help black people, because what happens now is that a lot of things will get to the forefront. They can no longer hide this, and they have to start saying we have to show a level of equality, a level of justified and justice and equality. We have to start showing that. And with Amy being the person that she is, a conservative, and she's a staunch Catholic. So and here's the thing, it's so wild about this, and and this is pretty much a posturing and a political move. Amy she's married, she's married, middle aged woman, and she has 7 children. I'm sorry, 9. She has 9 children. 9. Is it 7? Oh, I'm sorry. Check that. I just got corrected. 7. Thank you. 7. She has 7 children, but of the seven, correction. Thank you again. 7. 2 of the children are adopted. They're 2 black children that are from Haiti. Now I don't know. I can't tell. I can't speak on if that's a political power move kind of up her, to up her credit, to up her cred or what. But whatever it is, she's at the front door. She's at the front door. Make no mistake about that. But we have to look at this objectively, that if we have a conservative Supreme Court justice, there are a lot of things that are going to be beneficial for us, because now with this with the racial tension in the country now concerning black people, and the Supreme Court has no choice but to look at this, and putting Clarence Thomas at the front of everything to kind of push these things along, as the conservatives say, hey, enough is enough. We have to start doing this. This is also going to help push Congress in a different direction, to say there's certain bills we have to put on certain we have to create certain bills to create certain laws to start protecting black people. It's hard to believe that they're still arguing in the Senate. They're still arguing, period, about the anti-lynching bill. What is there? What is there to argue about? What is there to talk about? You classify that like anything else as a hate crime. It's what point does it not fall up under that? You put a rope around somebody's neck and you hang it from a tree. You give a couple of tugs until they stops, and until they start floundering around like a fish on a hook. What's the problem? There's a song by Billie Holiday. It's called Strange. If you're not familiar with it, look this song up. Go to YouTube and look this song up. It's called Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday. Look that up. You'll understand what I'm talking about on why certain things have to change. Okay. Now, hey, we're going to take us a little break here on iHeart Intellectual Radio, the Chronicles of Rohn. The first half of the show was brought to you by my man, Alex, at Captain Hook's Eatery. If you want something really, really good food, get down there, get some of those fries, macaroni and cheese, the sides, chicken, fish, and shrimp. It's the best eat 'em up joint that I go to. That's the best one. So we'll be right back here on the Chronicles of Rohn.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
These niggas think it ain't crazy out here. Y'all gotta pardon me tonight. I feel like a superhero up in here. When the spinner gotta hit him, gotta kill him like new shit. They call me Batman, cause the black man sits on my face. Gun up on my waist, booted and suited in them black case. I'm looking for some hood rats that I take to the back cave. Y'all lame like blank man, while I'm steady serving them like pistol on my utility belt. Like, yeah, I keep my identity to myself. Like, you don't want me to grab that thing from the shelf. Like, I call him Robin, cause that's my only help, right? Okay. Girls hit my back signal when they know that I'm coming. I say I ain't here for nothing, now give me that cat woman. As soon as we started stomach pumping, somebody had started thumping. She jumped up and caught her breath like, did you hear something? As soon as I get near the yard, you want me to get in the yard. I ain't trying to tease them, play with your mind like the Riddler. Girl, I'm really feeling you, but you're acting two-faced. Her body smell fresh, but her breath needs some toothpaste. Nah, I ain't gonna play with her, I'm giving it to her all the way straight. Wait, she said quit playing. What you think, I'm a joker? About her money freaking, by the end of the night it's over. This girl will poison ivy, but I'ma have to give her a chance. Cause this a one night stand, but I'ma have bigger plans. Jump from top to roof like through the window like that, man, you cool, right? Hit the floor, then I dub roll, shoot like a uppercut. Gotta leave one sack or two, right? Look, this what I told her. Girl, I break backs, bang. She hit me on the dark night for a late stain. By the end of the night, I don't remember her name. My alias is alias, not Bruce Wayne. She said she got a man and he'll be home soon for dinner. And by that time I need to be out like a ninja. She say his heart's cold like a Chicago winter. His friends call him Freeze, but I just call him Victor. And I'm like, shh. Then she say he must got home a little quicker. I'm like, damn, where's the window? And pass me all my B-loans. Do yourself a favor, chick. Lose all my info. Down the fire escape to the black mobile. My cologne in the air. Soon as he knew that I was there, he screamed. Watch me get up out that gym like I made that thing go blam like all the women like damn that's cause they know that's who I am. Okay. DA.
Hey, and welcome back to iHeart Intellectual Radio, the Chronicles of Rohn. I am your host, Alan J. Campbell, aka The Dark Knight, here at the bottom of the hour. So, I want to say a couple of more things concerning the nominee for about it. Now, a couple of things that they're subject to do, and I want people to hear me very, very carefully. And this is basically toward my female listeners. When I'm an advocate of, a woman's body is hurt, she's free to do what she wants to do with it concerning a pregnancy. Now, what people are most worried about is should she make the bench? What is going to happen? Because the biggest argument is what's going to happen to Roe versus Wade. And Roe versus Wade, for people who don't know, was a landmark case in 72, 73, to where it said that a woman had this, it made abortion legal. A woman has the right to do with her body as she chooses. Okay, I have no problem with that. Okay, but what they couldn't see 40 years down the road is how do you deal with this in the cases of incest or sexual assault. They couldn't see that. So now we're at the threshold now to where what do we do? How do we go about that? I'm not going to tell somebody, no, you know what? Don't have this baby. You don't have the right to have this baby. Or if you decide, I'm still cool with that. A woman should have the right to choose. She should have the choice. It's her choice. It's her body. Because understand something, whoever she was with, they were an active participant in that too. Let's not leave that out. But what they're going to wind up doing with Roe versus Wade, they're going to wind up gutting it. They're going to take certain things out of it, and they're going to add things, or they're going to make provisions. For example, they're going to make it so to where a doctor, if it goes against a doctor's belief, his spiritual belief, he can opt out or refuse to perform the procedure. That is when they start revisiting that is going to happen. Mark my words. You heard it here first. They're going to gut it. They are going to do that. And a lot and the question was asked, if she gets on the bench, is she going to crawfish a couple of things? Is she not going to be the conservative that she's been made out to be? It's hard to say. None of us can tell. We just have to wait and see, and we go from there. We just have to wait and see. All right. So, moving on to the second half of the show, we really gonna get into the Brionna Tayler case. I'm gonna tell you, truth be told, the more I get into this, the more I read the information and get a better understanding and really discussing this with law enforcement. Let's ask ourselves this question about, or let me rephrase that. Let me put it this way. Okay, ladies, this is directed at the ladies. I know y'all going, and you're like, okay, and I know some of y'all are, you're wondering what's happening. Where, hey, where are we going with this? Okay, it's very simple. Very, very simple. If you are at home, you at your place, you at your spot, okay? You with you all at home, you with the boyfriend or the husband, one of the two, whichever, or the significant other, whatever. and all of a sudden you hear somebody trying to break in. Boom, 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 boom. You hear somebody trying to break in. Okay. I want you all to think about this for a minute. Your guy who is supposed to be the proverbial protector, are you going to go with him to see who's breaking in? Or are you going to be somewhere hiding in a bathroom or under a bed calling 911? See, first of all, what I want y'all to do is think about that question. And I want you to think about how and why Brionna Taylor was shot and killed. What was she doing there? No, no, it's not that. It's not that was her house. The question is, what was she doing with Mr. Kenneth Walker? Why was she with him when he was going to investigate who was breaking in, who he thought was breaking into the house? Why was she there? Why wasn't she someplace else hiding or calling, for that matter? Why didn't she call 911 while he's going to investigate? You could have easily put out this fire quick, fast, in a hurry. Easily put this fire out. I know most women would have most likely been somewhere else in the house calling 911. So we have to start asking our question. This is, and make no mistake, people, this is not character assassination or destroying her memory or anything. This is just asking a common sense question. Why are you there? What are you doing? Because here's the part that what's really perplexing. Kenneth Walker, okay, admitted that he fired a shot. Okay, those are the words that came out of his mouth. Okay, police returned fire. The part that's really hard to wrap your head around is that she was shot. She was hit. Brionna Taylor was hit 6 times, and out of the six times, only one bullet was fatal. So the question, I had to really go back and kind of put this, kind of think about this, kind of play it over in my head. And I really wish I had a floor plan of the apartment so I could see the hallway that they were having this close contact gunfight in, which is where was Brionna Taylor during this time? Was she in the hallway or was she going to the door while Kenneth Walker hid around a corner with the pistol and let her go and send his girl out to see what's going on? I mean, let's explore this for a minute, people. And let's explore this for a minute because it's just certain things that it's just not adding up to me. Okay, now let's think about. I want you to think about it. Let that marinate for a minute. Now with the special prosecutor or the attorney general for the state of Kentucky, Daniel Cameron. He appears to me to be a very sharp guy. He came back with his findings, and a lot of people were upset with with the grand jury's findings of what they call the grand jury came back with what they call a no bill, meaning that there was insufficient evidence to warrant the charge of murder. People, you have to understand, in order to reach the charge of homicide / murder, you have to prove intent. These officers had no intent on killing Brionna Taylor. There was no intent. There was no forethought. There was no malice. She was not killed because of the color of her skin. She just happened to be a victim of unfortunate circumstances. Okay. Not only that, but here's the other part. Here's the other part that we don't want to talk about. The other part is Miss Taylor's association with certain people. How they come to how the police came to this particular conclusion is they tracked a package from the ex-boyfriend to Brionna Taylor, who accepted the package. You have to understand, under the letter of the law, if a person uses your address, that is considered residency under the law. Considered resident. I don't care if they're getting Amazon, if they're getting March Weekly, if they're getting Freak Books, whatever you want to call it. If it's in their name, they technically they live there. It's considered residency. Residency. So at some point or another, he was still getting mail at Brionna Taylor's at her address. At some point or another, it was incumbent upon Miss Taylor to make sure that she had cut off all forms of communication. Not only that, but it is alleged that Miss Taylor was still receiving phone calls from her ex while he was locked up in jail. There's a problem, people. There is a strong problem. We have to. The unfortunate part is that this is what uh the um prosecution would have done. This is what they're going to actually what we get into. They're going to get into her character. This is basically character. What kind of person was she? Because here's the thing, you can't be in association with, if you are a licensed anything, particularly an EMT, anything in the medical field, EMT, RN, CNA, MA. There's certain things you cannot be attached to. Certain people you cannot be attached to because most likely because of if their background is fucked up. You can't be attached to them. Or if you are, it has to be so low key. And the unfortunate part, and let's just say for the sake of argument, Miss Brianna Taylor broke up with this guy because she was becoming an EMT or had become an EMT, and this means that she could not have any association with any known felon. But you're still accepting phone calls from this person in jail who is a felon. Here's the thing. We don't know too much about Kenneth Walker. What type of person is he? See, the biggest thing is that we don't want to address certain things because we don't want to seem like we are destroying something. No, we have if you're going to talk about something, let's put all the cards on the table. So, with that being said, we had and this was really good because of the information. We had certain celebrities come out and said that they were disappointed. They were disappointed. Some were shocked, some weren't shocked. But you don't if you're an actor, let's be real. Now understand something. I am a huge but I'm an actor myself, okay? And the thing is that we as actors, we can disagree with another actor. We may not like it, we may not we can disagree, okay, which what they're entitled to do. I am a huge fan of Viola Davis's work. I mean, that's the Viola Davis is the only person she ought to win an Academy Award for just crying on cue and blowing booger bubbles. Because that woman can cry. That woman can cry on cue. That was I kid you not. But I don't agree with her assessment and what she said from her Twitter account. And she goes on to say, after the findings were released, she stated this is Viola Davis on her Twitter. It says a bullshit decision. Black Lives Matter cannot be said enough times. Okay, now Viola, you got to understand, you weren't there. Two, you're not law enforcement. You are an actress. It's difficult to say how this unfolded. But at the same time, we also have to understand that they had to follow the letter of the law. They had to follow the evidence wherever it may take him, wherever it may take them. So as it went on to say, it said one officer had been charged with 3 counts of wanton endangerment. Okay, the charges are for shooting into another apartment that was not directly related to Breonna Taylor. Another actor, uh, uh, Kentucky native George Clooney said he's ashamed of the decision. I was born and raised in Kentucky, cut tobacco on the farms of Kentucky. Both my parents and sisters live in Kentucky. I own a home in Kentucky. I was there last month. The justice system I was raised to believe in holds people responsible for their actions. But I got to realize George Clooney is white, so he's not his idea. He's looking through the justice system through a microscope, a microscope. So it doesn't apply. You can't. It's difficult to say because you're not black. You've never been black. You will never be black, ever. So what we're doing is that people are walking through, saying her name, Brionna Tayler, Brionna Tayler. People, we have to understand, though tragic, a lot of this was self-induced by the company that we keep. Self-induced by the company that we keep. Another celebrity, Kerry Washington. This is from Kerry Washington's Twitter feed. Daniel Cameron is on Donald Trump's short list as a replacement of Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court. The same man who decided not to charge these officers responsible for killing. Once again, this is another actress who has no clue on the letter of the law and how the law works, how the grand jury works. These are people who probably never got so much as a parking ticket. You don't know and understand how this works. Further along with Kerry Washington, whoever needs this. I understand the desire not to vote, to reject a system that abuses you, denies your worth, but please know that the system does see your work. Its worth. It is afraid of your power. Okay, that's a little sideways saying, okay, go vote, go vote, go vote. Okay, that's not the answer. The answer has to be what we have to start taking levels of accountability for the company that we keep. The company that we keep. Common from his Twitter. To be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be in a state of rage almost all of the time. And this is something that James Baldwin has said. Okay, these are people who have no idea or understanding of what we're dealing with. Also, I hope they call back. Okay, but this is where we're at now. Going to another portion. Hey, welcome to iHeart Intellectual Radio, the Chronicles of Rohn. Who do I have on the phone and where are you calling from?
This is Jay from Georgia.
What's happening, Georgia? All right, let's get into it. Let's just get into it.
Okay, so let me back up a little bit. You're talking about Trump's tax report and his tax liability of $750. I'm gonna say it like this. He's got good accountants. He's got a good accounting team. And I was his accounting team. I don't give a damn what you say. This is his accountant. Incidentally, he keeps very smart and very legal people around him who understand how to, keyword, exploit the existing laws for his benefit. Not mad at it. If you, and incidentally, one of the people who is the barred or disbarred attorney, Michael Cohen.
Oh, yeah.
So let's just put that as a bookmark. So he's not necessarily totally at fault on the assumption and the legal counsel of people like Michael Cohen, who was his chief legal counsel in several of his enterprises. And we'll bookmark that. Another interesting note for the broke people who are sitting on the campfire complaining.
Georgia, you're coming in kind of staticky. Check your, I'm not sure if you're using your earpiece or it might be something with your connection.
Okay, try it now.
Okay, that's better. That's much better.
All right. So if you look at all of the existing presidents that have been or have released their tax records, guess who paid the highest amount of tax liability? For the interest of time, we'll say the dumb black guy.
Right, jackass. Right.
So
you only need one.
If you should be mad about anything, you really should be mad about the dumb black guy paid close to $1.5 million in income tax. And every one of his constituents in the same office under the same salary paid pennies on the dollar. I think the lowest one was Clinton. I think it was under $150,000.
Yeah, something like that.
So that says a lot about having a thorough understanding of how the system works, a system that you guys keep letting ride. But I digress. So the dumb black guy in the room paid the most taxes, got the least legislation done, and you call that an accomplishment. The outsider, who has never done any of this before, has donated, as you said, 100% of his salary for the last 3.5, 4 years to a number of charities. In addition to that, he's put significant legislation in place to help several of the tax brackets become more eased. He even allowed you to take home more from your paycheck by reducing payroll taxes. See, there are certain conversations you cannot have with broke people because they're concerned with what's going on at the water cooler when the real decisions were made on the golf course. That's the way this world works. And like it or not, the dude's gonna get another 4 years after he gets his judge in, which is a very good chess play because he also knows there's going to be a tremendous amount of voter or ballot inaccuracies, which is going to lead to a Supreme Court battle. But he's not a punk like Gore. He's not going to bow down and just take one up the rear. He's going to fight for whatever he feels is fair. That's why he's prepping you now. Hey, look, this ain't going to be fair. So I need to put everything that I need, which is a smart strategy. I need to put everything that I need in place if this goes south. Key word, if this goes south. And as we know, whenever they say the phrase goes south, that means it's going to go terribly wrong, worse than anyone could expect, other than a Southerner.
Right. Then let me throw this out at you, since we're talking about the nominee. Now, it was asked. It was asked, and I want to show level, and I try to work in the parameters of impartiality. Do you think that this woman, once she's confirmed and on the bench, do you think she will crawfish and not be the conservative that she said that she's made herself to be, or do you think she will hold the line?
I honestly believe that she'll hold the line, and I think she'll actually do a better job than some of the existing people who are there, including John Roberts, and I think she'll be a nice balance to Kavanaugh. I think that would be a nice balance to the conservative side of things, which incidentally is what is necessary to have better, shall we say, clarification to the law, and especially to the law as it relates to civil rights.
Right, and she said
that's another avenue that we're not understanding.
Remember now, and I hope you called earlier because I said that with her being there, with him doing, with Trump doing this is going to be more beneficial for Black people than it is white people. Number one. The other thing. Number two, when we're referencing certain portions of legislation, certain parts of the judicial system, she went on. She said in her acceptance, that she will apply the law fairly, equally, and as it is written. Key word in there, as it is written. She didn't say any, because see, liberals interpret the law, conservatives apply it as it is written. That's the difference. And she made it clear.
That is correct. And I think she'll do a good job at keeping that.
Yeah, because she and not only that, but she's from the 7th District Circuit Court here in Chicago. She clerked for Anton Scalia, which is a huge feather in her cap because Anton Scalia was a humongous conservative, huge conservative. And this is where we have to fully understand where the level of conservative has to be, because this is going to be because right now the argument for civil rights and where it should be is going to be argued very, very soon. And now that you have, if it goes this direction to where you have 6-3 conservatives, white people need to watch out because it's going to happen.
Well, I think it'll get better definition under the law because, incidentally, once again, for the slow people in the room, the reason why people and corporations are able to exploit the tax law, are able to exploit the loop-throughs of many of the corporations, is because they're using a statute that was originally written in the 14th Amendment as it related to entities that have certain rights and liberties that cannot be distressed by the states. But that's a whole nother conversation. And I think that if once she gets on the bench, we'll start to see a lot of these issues become really clarified, so that it will start to make sense and not be exploited like it has. There is more, shall we say, sympathy now for the alphabet community than for the people who actually fought, bled, and died to make those statues known. And that has to change.
No, I absolutely agree. And
the alphabet people are taking all the soup.
Yeah, and I
can't keep doing that.
Can't keep doing that. And when Jackass started putting these things in this kind of, and I believe one of the justices or a legal mind has said this, that when you the judicial system has been over the past few years by the Democrats has been slowly eroded away. It's been eroded away by the liberal thinking of Democrats. Liberal thinking.
And it has. I mean, if you look at where we are, even from dealing with this COVID situation where people are losing their grits, per se, over just having to do the common decent thing, that's an overextension of liberalism. Liberalism basically says, as its core, no one should tell me what to do. I should do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, whenever I want to do it. And you shouldn't have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that creates a problem in itself. And that is what I believe, that once we get the Supreme Court back in balance, that this will start to make sense. Because rest assured, after this election is over, I think a lot of things will become a lot clearer as far as where the lines are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The lines are being drawn, and they're using every instigative measure to create a huge war. But ultimately, there is going to be a definitive line that is either going to push us to be more civil or to completely erode that whole measure of civility. Period. That's exactly where we're headed, because there's too much tension. We're in a tinderbox in the middle of August, and we're telling everybody not to smoke. We're that close. And they keep trying to use the whole issue of race, but it's bigger than that. The issue is race is part of it, but the bigger issue is classism.
Right, right.
Which is what I think is going to become very clear after this election. Just got to watch and see and pay attention and quit allowing us to be so emotional like children to where we can't see the forest for the trees. That's all I got.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, every time this cat calls in, I mean, he just definitely puts a different light on things, or he expounds on what we've already talked about. So, you know, but that's the nature of the show. That's the nature of the beast. This is what we do here on the show Chronicles of Rohn. So, you know, with that being said, right now I see the lights flashing in the distance and the helicopters are about to land. So what does that mean? That means that's all the time that we have here tonight on iHeart Intellectual Radio, the Chronicles of Rohn. I'm going to give a shout out to my man Alex over there at Captain Hooks on 85th and Cottage Grove, 103rd and King Drive, 15922 South Kedzie and Markham, Illinois. Captain Hooks for some fabulous fish, shrimp, chicken, and sides. And with that being said, in closing, not my monkey, not my circus. Catch y'all to the Batmobile.
Roger. Ready to move out.